He has not been back or been heard from. His phone is dead. They got an Amber Alert. They got it looking out for him, looking for him. I don't know where he may be. I don't know where he may be or where he may have went. But that is my baby. And if anybody's seen my son, please inform me. He lives in Mammon. I don't know where he may be. I hope he's safe. I hope nothing happened to him. I pray and pray the Lord watch over my child. Bring him back home to me. Please, I ask my grandmother to watch over him, be his angel. Because I know my son is scared. I don't know if he's gone willingly or he's gone, somebody got him. I don't know. This never happened. Lord, please just be with me, my family, and my child, and my other 2 kids. That's my heart. And I don't want nothing bad to happen to my child. I don't know what I would do if my child is hurt somewhere and I don't know where he's at. I just pray, please, Lord. I don't get on Facebook and do none of this, but this is my child. My body is so numb because I literally don't know where my child is at. He is missing. He been gone since Friday night.
Devin Clark, age 18, a senior at Eastern Elmanus High School in Sabine, was reportedly last seen by his family on Friday, September the 16th. Lyric Woods, age 14, was a freshman at Cedar Ridge High School in Hillsboro, and she was reportedly last seen on the same date at her home, in which she shared with her mother and her stepfather. The Orange County Sheriff's Office reports that 2 men riding a 4-wheeler made the grisly discoveries when they came across the bodies on a trail about 2.5 miles away from Wood's home, near the intersection of Buckhorn and Yarborough Roads. It wouldn't be until Monday, September 19th, that the bodies were actually confirmed to be that of Lyric Woods, 14, and Devin Clark, age 18.
Orange County 911, what's the address of the emergency? I guess the officers probably need to respond non-emergency, but it is a pretty serious issue. I would like to speak to the officer in person, but what we have found is we've actually discovered 2 dead bodies. There's not an address. It's kind of, there's no house where we found the bodies. They're just laying around the side of the road.
Lyric loved life, and Lyric loved volleyball. She was a complete angel. Lyric was the funniest kid you could ever meet, and she loved cracking jokes and hanging out with her family and friends. She loved her eyelash curler, and you better believe it, she always had her Bath & Body Works on tow no matter where she went. She also loved her Air Jordans. Lyric was beautiful on the inside and out. She had the brains, and she had the beauty. She never met a stranger. Everyone loved her, and she loved everyone else. She didn't care what color you were. She seen you for what you were. Lyric's volleyball coach spoke about her tenacity. Lyric encouraged me, and because of her, I have learned not to give up. I will keep encouraging. I will miss your big brown eyes and your bright smile. And we will all learn from what you offered us while you were here. Devin was a beautiful kid. He had such a promising future. Devin was the type of person where if you go around him and you were having a bad day, when you left, you'd be happy. You'd have a smile on your face. He just had that way about him. People flocked to Devin. He was so fun to be around. Always cracking jokes, being funny. He was like the life of the party, basically. Devin never had a bad bone in his body. He respected people. He was smart. He was a good friend. He was an amazing son, amazing brother. His grandparents doted on him, as well as his parents. Devin had so much going for himself. It's so sad. His future was so bright. And just like that, it was snatched away from him. Lyric was last seen by her stepfather on Friday night, shortly before 11 p.m. He said Lyric had got out of the shower and he actually witnessed her going into her bedroom. That would be the last time that he would see Lyric. And that Saturday morning, after everyone was up, Lyric hadn't came out of her room yet, so upon checking on her, they realized that she wasn't in her room. They realized her iPad was also missing as well. It was at that moment when they called the authorities and reported Lyric as missing. Devin's dad reportedly last saw Devin around Friday, shortly before 11 p.m. as well. Now, Saturday morning when Devin's dad got up, Devin wasn't home, but he wasn't alarmed. I mean, Devin was 18, so he kind of hung out with his friends a lot. Either Devin would be with his friends or they would be at his house. It was one or the other. Therefore, his father was not concerned at all. It wasn't until that Sunday morning that things kind of took a turn for the worst. Devin's mom, she lives in another neighboring city, was on Facebook, and she read a post about a missing girl named Lyric Woods. And in the post, it was listed that she was possibly with a boy named Devin Clark. So at that moment, Devin's mom calls Devin's dad. They converse, and she's asking him, "Where's Devin?" And he's like, "Oh, Devin's not home." They tried calling Devin's phone. It went straight to his voicemail. So his mom was wondering, okay, so when did you last see Devin? And he was like, well, I last saw Devin Friday night, like shortly before 11 p.m. Devin's mom was so stressed at that point because she knew in her heart, she felt that something was not right. She called Devin's phone. And the fact that Devin's phone went straight to voicemail, that sent red flags. Because Devin always had his phone on. And if his mom called him, he would answer the phone. That's when everything kind of took a turn for the worse. At that point, they notified the authorities. Initially, they didn't do an Amber Alert for him because he was 18 years old. However, Lyric did receive the Amber Alert because she's 14. So that was the toss-up between the two. He was 18 and Lyric was 14. But it wouldn't be discovered until later on that evening. A terrible discovery was coming. Okay, so we have a lot of questions going on right now. Lyric is 14 years old. Devin is 18. They don't have a vehicle, okay? So Devin can't go pick up Lyric, and Lyric can't go get Devin. So that has been established. However, it's been put out there that Lyric was actually seen in a vehicle with another individual at 3 a.m. that Saturday morning. Now, that individual's name has not been released. And I'm saying it's for one or two things. Maybe it's not being released because that individual is a minor. Or maybe they're not saying anything because that's a suspect and they just don't want to put that name out there yet because they're trying to get more evidence. It's one of those. But in my mind, I'm really thinking that whoever Lyric was with, because she's 14, so I'm sure she wasn't hanging out with grown adults, but I'm sure whoever Lyric was with was a minor who possibly had the means to facilitate the transaction between those two. So that person was able to pick up Lyric and go pick up Devin and get them together. Like whoever that person was, who Lyric was with in the vehicle, that person ultimately was the person that went and picked up Devin. I'm just trying to make it make sense. And from the way I'm seeing it, I mean, that's the only logical explanation. Now, maybe it could have been Devin's friend. And maybe he went go pick up Lyric and then went get Devin. I don't know how it went, but it's one of those. Whoever Lyric was with, that person was the facilitator between those two meeting up. On Monday, September 19th, the two bodies that were found on Sunday was positively identified to be the remains of Lyric Woods and Devin Clark. This makeshift memorial was made by Lyric's family, and Lyric's grandfather did something that was so touching. He placed lights on the makeshift memorial because Lyric is afraid of the dark.
North Carolina Sheriff, quote, "The tragic but logical conclusion is increasingly clear." That's what the Orange County Sheriff says about the two bodies found yesterday. He now believes they belong to two teens who were reported missing over the weekend.
A makeshift memorial now stands in the area where people found those bodies. One of the teenagers was from Alamance County. His friends, classmates, and loved ones came to remember him at a balloon release at Eastern Alamance High School. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake is at the school tonight with an update.
Right, guys, two teens sadly shot to death. The Orange County Sheriff's Office tells us the bodies have been identified as 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark. Now, Clark went to high school here at Eastern Alamance and played football. And just a little while ago, dozens of balloons were released right here from this field in honor of him. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says men riding four-wheelers discovered the bodies of Clark and Woods off of Buckhorn Road just before 3 p.m. Sunday. Orange County deputies said family members reported Woods missing Saturday afternoon to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office says Clark was reported missing on Sunday. Clark's grandfather talked about the person he was.
He was always joyful. He was like a leader, really, because all the other kids kind of followed him at school, he was a really good kid.
Everybody loved him. He was so humble and kind and considerate. He would do anything in the world for you.
Clark's mom, Tiffany Concepcion, says she just wants justice for her son.
It's really unfair, and I want to get justice, and I don't care about where I got to go, what I got to do, who I got to talk to. I'm going to keep going and keep doing it because at the end of the day, my son did not deserve to get brutal the way that he did.
Clark's mother told me that he planned on going to college in Virginia to play football. She didn't know how the two knew each other. We will keep you up to date when we learn more.
Amber, thank you. Alamance Burlington Schools reacted to the death of Devin Clark today, writing, "Devin was a former Eagles football player and will always be remembered as a kind-hearted, gentle giant who was well liked by his classmates. Our condolences and thoughts go out to Devin's family, friends, and classmates, and to the Orange County school community who are also grieving the loss of a student there."
Lyric was such a beautiful girl, inside and out. She was loved by so many people. She had a loving spirit, a caring heart, and Lyric had no issues with color. Color didn't matter to Lyric. Color didn't matter to Lyric at all. She loved everyone. She treated everyone as equal. She will forever be missed. The outpouring of love and support that Lyric has been receiving on her TikTok page speaks a magnitude. Lyric was really a beautiful person inside and out. She had a caring and loving spirit. Everyone had nothing but positive things to say about Lyric. Such a gentle, caring spirit. She was very funny. And she always made sure her friends knew that she loved them. Everyone flocked to Lyric because Lyric was a gentle spirit. Lyric never judged anyone, and she always treated people equally. She didn't see race as an issue. It didn't matter what color you were. She judged you for the individual that you were. And because of that, her life was taken away from her all because she was a bigger person, all because race wasn't an issue to her. Lyric had so much to give and offer this world. Her impact would have been phenomenal, but even still, the 14 years that she has been here, she's done a lot. She's left a mark. She was a great kid, a great friend, great daughter, a great sister. Lyric was really amazing. The outpouring of support and love that she's receiving, it's a reflection of how great of a person she really was. She had so much more to offer the world. Rest in peace, Lyric. Your light will forever shine.
For tonight's matchup between the Eagles of Eastern Alamance High School and your Cedar Ridge Red Wolves.
Two schools connected by tragedy. 18-year-old Devin Clark and 14-year-old Lyric Woods were remembered with a moment of silence before their school soccer match.
At this time, we'd like to pause for a moment of silence to remember them.
Devin was a good kid.
Just 20 minutes away at Eastern Alamance High School, where Devin was a senior. His classmates also with heavy hearts. In honor of the former football player, they released black and blue balloons.
It actually made me feel good to know that he touched a lot of people's lives, that he made an impact on a lot of people, and not only in the school, within the community as well.
Crystal Hughes is Devin's aunt. She's still trying to make sense of what happened to the 18-year-old. The families reported the teens missing over the weekend. Their bodies found Sunday afternoon near Buckhorn Road in Orange County. The circumstances surrounding their deaths remain unclear.
It's hard for us to process everything that's going on because we don't have any details, and we really are lack of information, and it's just not sitting right with us with the stuff that we're hearing and all different sides of the story.
Hard for Devin's lifelong friends who are also trying to process a loss so great.
There's not really words that we can say about his loss because the way he went out just really hurts, and I would never expect that to happen to him as he doesn't get into anything.
I have to face the fact that I'm going to be for the rest of my life till I go to the other side without meeting my brother or being able to hear my brother's voice.
Lyric was laid to rest on Saturday. Her funeral was beautiful. Lyric was truly loved by a lot of people, and they showed how much they loved her. The outpouring of support and love was amazing. Devin's funeral was Tuesday, and his funeral was amazing as well. So much love and support. Devin was a great kid as well. These two, they were bright. They had so much to offer. Their future was so bright. And someone selfishly took their future away from them because of the color of their skin. And that's horrible. I pray that whoever did this to these kids get what they deserve, because that's not right. In the midst of this, it has been stated that there is a suspect. The suspect is 17 years old. So the name, the gender, no type of information is coming out right now. And I find that kind of weird because when I was looking and doing my research, I seen that Lyric was supposedly, allegedly seen with an individual, riding in a car with an individual. I was kind of like taken back from that. And I'm like, okay, well, if she was in the vehicle and they know it was Lyric in the vehicle, why hasn't this person come in? Or why haven't they contacted this person? And why haven't this person's name been given? I'm like, it's either one of two things. Either the person that Lyric was with was a minor, or they don't want to put the name out because they don't want to jeopardize the case. I'm like, it's one of those two. But I really felt that it was a minor because I'm like, Lyric is 14. So I really don't think an adult would go and pick her up and pick up Devin and do that to them. I don't think an adult would do that. I could be wrong. But when I heard that she was seen with someone around 3 and they didn't give any information about that individual, I felt it. I'm like, that person has to be a minor. I mean, that's the only thing that made sense to me. And I really think I was right. But here's the catch. They know who the individual is and know they cannot release the name because the individual is 17. And the laws in North Carolina are quite different. As of December 1st, 2019, a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old who commits crime in North Carolina can no longer be charged automatically as an adult. A case involving a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old has to be transferred to Superior Court if there's a notice of indictment or if the court finds probable cause for a Class A to G felony. First-degree felony is a Class A murderer. Statutes state that a juvenile has a 10-day right to appeal the transfer order. Isn't that something? So before the authorities can go and get this individual, the alleged murderer, I say allegedly, a juvenile petition has to be done first. And a juvenile petition basically is an arrest warrant that warrants the arrest of a 17-year-old minor. So could you just imagine how Devin and Lyric's family is feeling right now? To know that they potentially have the alleged killer. They know who it is, but that person has not been brought to justice. I could not even imagine how they're feeling right now. And I mean, laws in each state vary. I live in New Orleans, and it's quite different here. If you do a crime, if you do a grown-up crime at the age of 16, you're going to do grown-up time. I mean, that's just how it is. But every state has different statutes, and in North Carolina, it's that way. So right now, the suspect is free. They have to go through a whole bunch of different appeals. They have to go through so much to get them to be able to arrest this individual. And the thing is this, if you really stop and think about it, now I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm just really trying to make it make sense. If the individual that Lyric was said to be seen with was a minor, okay, if that person didn't do anything, I would think that this individual would say, okay, well, I was with Lyric. That was me. I'm going to turn myself in and let them know I didn't do anything. I picked her up and this happened, and I don't know what happened after that. If they were innocent, I would think they would come forward and say that. But the fact that the individual has not come forward to say, look, I don't have anything to do with it, that speaks volumes to me. It does. It really makes me feel as if that individual has something to hide. That's why they're not coming forward. Because if you were innocent and you did nothing wrong, even if you were seen with Devin and Lyric, you could have given them a ride and dropped them off somewhere, and someone else could have drove up and killed them. I mean, that could have very well happened. But the fact that this individual, they know who you are, and you know that they know who you are, and the fact that you haven't went forward or come forward to say, okay, this is how it happened. I dropped them off. I don't know what happened after that. Nothing has been done. And so allegedly, that really makes me feel like this individual is responsible for the death of Lyric and Devin. I mean, make it make sense. If they were innocent, why hasn't this individual, even if they still won't release the name because the subject is a minor, if they were to say, okay, well, the minor subject, 17, did come in and we have cleared them, they have an alibi, this individual did give Lyric a ride, but they dropped them off at such and such a time, at such and such a location, and they hadn't seen them since then, that would be one thing. But the fact that this individual has gone radio silence and not come forward speaks volumes. I mean, make it make sense.
Year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark, both reported missing, then found murdered along a wooded trail in Orange County. The crime hitting students hard tonight. Parents, along with the Hate-Free Schools Coalition, giving teams a safe space to process all that grief. Jamice Price was there. She joins us live in Orange County tonight. Jamice, I know you've been talking to both students and parents.
That's right, Joel. Those students meeting right behind me, and they were visibly heartbroken standing in front of this courthouse. Those are ninth graders telling me what happened to Devin and Lyric. They didn't deserve it. Heartbroken and grieving.
I don't even think people realize how much it hurts.
Students trying to process the pain of losing their classmate.
I walked in the bathroom earlier and seen a girl crying because she knew Lyric, and we hugged each other and cried it out.
14-year-old Lyric Woods, a ninth grader at Cedar Ridge High School, and Eastern Alamance senior, 18-year-old Devin Clark, were murdered. Their bodies found over the weekend.
It's very hard, and there's no time to really process anything that's happening.
Districts provided support services, but parents say it hasn't been enough.
These children are actually hurting. As you heard tonight, they are hurting. They're scared. They're terrified. And they don't have an outlet to express themselves. So that's why I came out here tonight asking them to come and express how they feel.
And so they did. A few dozen high school students, with the support of their parents, came together and let their emotions out.
It made me feel a little bit better to get it out of my system a little bit, but it's still gonna hurt. I mean, she passed away, he passed away. It's gonna hurt regardless, but it's life. I mean, it's life.
But parents reminding students tonight that what happened to Devin and Lyric is not how life is supposed to go.
Just the shock of it all left the kids feeling very blah, not really sure what to do with all the emotions. And so as parents, we want to try to get ahead of that and start to do things that might support the students so that this doesn't spiral out of control.
Parents also telling me tonight what's unsettling about all of this is that a 17-year-old has been accused of murdering these two high school students. Authorities still working right now to bring that 17-year-old suspect into custody. In Orange County, Jamice Price, ABC 11 Eyewitness.
Your children
so many questions,
ride up and down this street right now after two of their friends was just murdered. All because you didn't like this girl? Really? Say. But I be on this phone with this mama. I heard what she going through. But I'm going to tell y'all something. She is being very strong. Very strong. I believe she's in shock. I believe this mother is in shock because I'm going to tell you something. Let you tell me I can't see my child. You telling me that you're going to let me identify my child? No. Y'all identify my child through fucking fingerprint? How my son ain't never been in trouble? How and my baby ain't never been in trouble? He ain't in the system. But y'all want to blame this mother for starting a racial issue. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. You have a whole page created saying that this baby is a thug. But y'all got his family out here saying, listen, that's not his character. He's a football player. He makes good grades. He does this and this and this. But y'all are doing social media. Y'all are doing everything to tear this boy down because he was found laid next to a white female. And like we talked about the other night, Lyric wasn't racist. Now, I've been told that her family was. That's not my business. My concern are these kids. I know she wasn't a racist. Guess what? I'm going to justice. I'm going to be out here at this courthouse, and I'm going to make sure Devin gets justice. And let me tell you something else. I said today, all these little secret, I don't know if y'all having secret meetings. Blackwood, I don't know if y'all having secret meetings. But 2 kids was killed, not 1. Everybody needs to be at the table. Am I right or wrong? No sidebar meetings. Devin's family need to be there right along with hers because 2 kids was murdered on the same property. And guess what? I don't care who property it belongs to.
After the 2 teens were shot to death on a trail in North Carolina, and their 17-year-old suspected killer is still on the run while cops refuse to say who he is. Lyric was laid to rest on Saturday. Her memorial was beautiful, and Devin was laid to rest on Tuesday. hundreds gathered for the event of the well-loved kids that were murdered and taken away way too soon. A separate memorial ride in cars and on ATVs and dirt bikes with family and friends of Devin was held to honor the 18-year-old as well. Crowds gathered in the hundreds as people drove down West Holt Street and honked their horns. The Orange County Sheriff's Office filed a petition 2 days after the bodies were discovered against a 17-year-old suspect who is on the run and whom they have refused to identify. Police have cited North Carolina laws regarding juvenile offenders as, after December 2019, teenagers aged 16 or 17 are not automatically tried as adults for a crime. It's left up to a judge to determine if they should be tried as a juvenile or an adult. Orange County's district attorney and the attorney that is on the case have explained that the decision of whether or not to try the suspect as an adult or not will be determined at the time of arrest. It will likely then be left up to the judge to transfer the case over or not. However, the North Carolina Juvenile Justice Act will limit further details and information from being revealed about the case, along with the identity of the 17-year-old. North Carolina Central University law professor Irving Journer explained that even with the confidentiality, Orange County law enforcement have clearly found strong evidence pointing toward the killer. The juvenile protections will be available to this individual until there is a court determination that they should be prosecuted as an adult. But that's an exception to the statute that allows for prompt movement, so initially there is just a level of confidentiality that has to be applied. There has been information provided to law enforcement that quickly led to the identification of the suspect, and then the decision by law enforcement to arrest a particular individual. What that basically means is there was a strong trail that led to the individual as being the suspect. The families of both Lyric and Devin are still in mourning, and they just want the individual that's responsible for the killing to be brought to justice. Devin's mom, Tiffany, stated that she will not stop until justice is served. She also prays for the 17-year-old's family as well. Tiffany states that the suspect must have had a significant anger toward Devin and Lyric to shoot them and leave them the way that he did. He really did not like seeing them together. That was clearly evident in the way that he handled the bodies. She states he must have had a lot of anger in him. He was really angry for him to do what he did. I pray for him. I pray for his family. There has not been an official motive as to why the 17-year-old did what he did. However, everyone knows. Everyone knows. Rest in peace, Lyric. Rest in peace, Devin. Although you guys were young, you left quite an impression. I want to follow this story to the very end. This story is near and dear to me because they are young kids, and as a mother, I could not imagine what their parents are going through. So my prayers go out to their family. But as I said, I will follow this case until the end, until this individual, this coward, is brought to justice. And I'm sorry, as a parent, I don't think this person can be rehabilitated. I don't care if he's 17, to have such malice and hatred in his heart to do this, he doesn't deserve to be a part of this society. I'm sorry. He doesn't deserve to be a part of the society. If he did it this time, he'll do it again. Rest in peace, you two beautiful lights. Fly high.